we've now made 5 different types of graphs, looked at 5 different types of graphs, and you've had to make some by hand. And you probably didn't like that for some of them, particularly the circle graph and the pictograph, right? So what we're going to do today is we're going to take a look at graphs again. We're going to use technology to make graphs. We're going to see how much easier it is to do that. So I'm going to say right off the bat, although I have put down information here for line graphs, histograms, bar graphs, circle graphs, and even pictograph. I don't know if I'm going to get to all of them. I don't want this video to be 30 minutes long. So we'll see where we get. So what we're going to use to make these graphs, and I think this is a smart way to do this, is we're going to use a spreadsheet. Now you don't have to use spreadsheet. There's websites on the internet you can find that are specifically intended to make graphs, but I would say most of those websites actually use a format that's very similar to spreadsheets. So why don't we just take a look at spreadsheets, and if you understand that, you can probably use any similar thing on the internet anyway. So what's a spreadsheet? A spreadsheet's a grid of rows and columns used for creating tables and graphs. And then once you put data into those rows and columns, you can manipulate it, you can use it in calculations, you can use formulas. It's really powerful. So examples of spreadsheets, probably the most common one is Microsoft Excel. There's also Google Sheets, which is a newer one, but Google makes good stuff. And iWork Numbers, if you're an Apple user, you might use Numbers. What we're going to use today, I'd never used it before. I thought this was a good opportunity for me to learn a little bit about it. Was Google Sheets. I would say that most of these, if not all these spreadsheets, there's more out there as well. If you understand one, you can probably, understand everything you need to know on the other one, and then it would just be a matter of hunting around to figure out how to make it look fancier, prettier, editing it a little more, all that kind of stuff. So let's find Google Sheets, since that's what we're going to do. So I go to Google, why not, and I'll put in Google Sheets. There it is. And this comes up, free online spreadsheets. That's what we want. Free is good. So we go to free. We're going to use this personally. And we just want a blank one, right? We're just getting started on one. So here we go. This is a spreadsheet. Look at all these columns. Look at all these rows. All right, so what we're going to start with is a line graph. So we're going to make a line graph here. What we have, I didn't do titles for these, I'm sorry. I've got the months here, and I've got tickets sold. So I guess this is at a movie theater or something, and they're taking a look at how well they're doing from month to month. So the first thing we need to do is enter these two columns into our Google Sheets. So I'm going to come back to my Word document, because I can then actually copy and paste it. So I can copy, and I go up here, and I hit paste, and there we go. If you wanted to put a title over top of this, I could put month here, and then I could put number of tickets here. You don't want to put anything besides the number in these columns. If you were to put tickets, then Sheets or any spreadsheet will get very confused. It won't be able to make the table. Now, if you are going to put the title up there, though, now what you'll need to do is you need to highlight just the part you're graphing. We're not graphing this, right? I mean, we'll put those on there, but this is the actual data. These are just labels. This is the data we want. So we highlight it, and then we'll go over to this button right here where it says Insert Chart, or you could go here where it says Insert, and you could put Chart. Either way you want. I'll do it this way, I guess. And it takes a second, and it's going to guess which type of graph you would want. What do you think? It came up with a bar graph. What did I say I wanted to do in this one? I said I was doing a line graph. Don't despair. Here's what we do. We go over to chart type. This popped up automatically, chart editor. I go over to chart type, and I wanted a line chart. There we go. We're done. I mean, if you want, you're finished already, but there's all sorts of things you could do to edit this, make this look nice and fancy. Go to customize. So chart style. You could set a background color, so maybe I want my background color to be blue. Doesn't look great, but that's okay. We could change the font, the border color, all sorts of things you could, you look around, see what you could do there. All right, for the axes titles, I want to put a title on this. So my title, I'll make it ticket sales per month. That was almost what they had, but I like this better. Okay, I could change the font, I could change the size of it. Maybe I want to make it bold, change the color. I'll make it red. I don't know. I'm just making this up. I know it doesn't look good, but it doesn't matter. All right, so there we go. Series, what's this all about? So this is my first line. If I wanted to change the color of the line, I could change the color of the line. Maybe I want that to be purple. There you go. Now I got a nice purple line. I could make it dashed, or for most of our cases, we're always going to have it a solid line, so leave that. The left axis, oh, we could put the axes on the left or the right. We almost always do the left. Could make it thicker if we want. Let's make it a bit thicker. There you go, easier to see. If I'm going to put the points on there, so the actual points that showed up, maybe I want to put them. Oh, you can't see that very well. I'll make them bigger just so we can see them. There you go. Now we can, wow, you can see them really well now. If you don't want circles, you could use some other shape. I prefer the circle, but I mean, I guess I could do a star. So, don't like that. Okay, so that's most of that stuff. Again, you're gonna, hunt around and figure this all out for yourself. A legend. I don't think we need a legend in this one, so I'll leave that for maybe a different one. Horizontal axis. So that's this axis here. I could change the font, change the font size. Now you can see all those are a little bit bigger. I can make them bold, change the color of them, etc., etc. I could also put the on a slant or not. So right now they are on a slant. If I put 0, they would not be on a slant anymore, although I don't think they fit, so I don't think that'll work. But I can make it more slanted. See, 60 degrees, 30 degrees, so that'll change the slant. Actually, 60, I think it was on 60, and I think it looks better. There we go. So that's all the horizontal. Let's take a look at vertical. So we've got our title already. Can change the font size, the color, can make it bold, italicize. Right now it doesn't show the axis line. I could show that by clicking this button. You see now it has a y-axis. Up to you whether you want that. Could change what it goes up to. Let's say you're like, well, I want it to go up to 25,000 just to show where we might end up in a couple months or something. I could do that, and now it's changed, but that probably doesn't make sense in this case, so I'll get rid of that. And grid lines. If you wanted to at the bottom, you could put some more grid lines in there just by clicking here, and you can see you get some more grid lines in there. It might be a little bit easier to read if you have that. You can also click on the graph for if you're like, oh, I really want to change the title. You can click right on here, and then that'll take you to the spot in the customize area that you want. So instead of having number of tickets, maybe I actually want to write the word number. So number of tickets. And you can see that's now showing up here. If you want to change something about how this is displayed, just click and it just pops right up. I mean, it's all really common sense. You're going to do very well with this, I know. 3 buttons here. If you click that, it allows you to delete, copy it. So maybe I want to copy it. So you click on copy chart. And then if you had a Google Docs, here we have a Google Doc here. I just have to copy paste. It's going to give me this option. Make sure you paste unlinked. And when you paste, there you go. I now have it in my Google Doc. I can write, wherever I want, above, below that, and go from there. So this is my line graph. Okay, let's go on to the histogram. So here we have a list of people and their ages. So I'm going to put that into my Google Sheets. There we are. We got all their names, got their ages, I've got titles. So I'm going to highlight just this bit, not the top, and I'm going to make a chart. So this time I'm going to click this one, Insert Chart. And it's given me a bar graph, right? This is not a histogram. So in order to get a histogram, what I'm going to do is click on Chart Type, and here you go. Histogram of age is one that's suggested for me. If you didn't know where if it didn't come up suggested, it's also down here under Other. But it is suggested, so I'll click that. Boom, done. I have my histogram right there. So there's probably some things I need to change. First of all, this is not an age, this is number of people. So if I click on that, it takes me right to the right spot, and I want to change it to number of people. If I click on this should not say name, this should say age. Something else I don't like is it doesn't start at 0, so maybe if I click here, on the horizontal axis, I can put my minimum value at 0. Now, if you're not happy with how many bars it has in the histogram, you could click on histogram and it asks for your bucket size. So right now, if you leave on auto, it kind of decides for you. But maybe I know, rather than going from 0 to 12, I just want to go from 0 to 10. I want to know from 0 to 10, 10 to 20, 20 to 30. That's kind of nice to know each decade. So I put 10, boom, it's just changed like that. Okay, I'll copy that one, go to my Google Doc. This is my histogram, and I'll paste that unlinked. And there you go. Okay, going faster and faster here. Next, we're doing a double bar graph. So what we have here is type of fishing licenses, how many there were in 1999 of each of the type of license, salmon, herring, halibut, and how many in 2004. So for example, in 1999, they sold 2,786 salmon licenses, and then 5 years later, in 2004, they sold 2,157 salmon licenses. So let me get all this information into Google Sheets. There we go. You can see it doesn't fit very well, so you probably know this. Once it turns to an arrow, if I move it, it'll just extend it. So arrow extend, and arrow extend, and that looks pretty good. I think I can read it all. So what I'm interested in here is all this information. So I highlight that, and I hit my chart button, insert a chart, and let's see what it gives me. And yeah, it gave me a double bar graph. Let's see if I can change this from a vertical to a horizontal. I believe that is this one. You can just see it's what we have here is called a column chart in Sheets. It makes sense. These are up and down like columns. We want to do a bar chart if we want it to go horizontally. So just by clicking this, you can see now it's this way. And it's pretty good. I mean, I definitely want to change the title. Maybe it's say fishing licenses. And something else I definitely need to change is this. This is the key. So if I click right on here, it goes to legend, which is good. And I want to put the legend on the bottom. So I'll click here for bottom. Now this is so weird, but I cannot see in this legend area how to actually write some words for this. The only way I've been able to figure it out is if I double click on each one of them. So if I double click on blue, I can put 1999 in there because that's what that stands for. And if I double click on red, come on, I can put 2004 in there. That's the only thing I could figure out from that. All right, I'll stick with that. Copy paste. And this is the double bar graph. Okay, next we got the circle graph. So we got flavor of chips and people's favorite flavor. We asked people what their favorite flavor, and these are the results. Let's put it into Sheets. Okay, there we go. Make this a little wider so we can read it. Okay, look at the first thing you'll notice is we don't even have percents here. We just have numbers. Will that matter for our Google Sheets? You bet it will not. Just highlight this, and then I'll do it this way again. Insert chart, and we'll see if it gives us a circle graph or not. It probably, oh, did. How does it always know? It's incredible. And you can see it has everything here. It's got the percents for each thing. It's got the titles. The only thing I don't like is the title of it here. So I will click on that and call this favorite chip flavors. Now you can really have a lot of fun with the way this thing looks. If you go into chart style, you can put like background colors, fonts. You can make it 3D, although we will talk about this. I don't encourage you to do that. Maximizing will make it as big as possible. That doesn't look good, so I wouldn't do that. So I'm not going to put it 3D even though it looks sexier. All sorts of things you can do. I'll leave it for you to look to that. We got to keep moving. So this is the circle graph. Want it smaller? Just click on it. You know how to do this sort of stuff, right? Okay, we out of time? I hope so, because what's left is Pictograph, and I don't really want to do it. But anyway, let's go. Pictograph. Okay, this is a little different. Here's my information. Oh, I can't even read this. Let me make this bigger. So we've got 4 students, and we've got how many hours they spend on the phone. And this is a little different. You cannot just highlight this, hit the chart button, and have a pictogram. Good for Google Sheets. They don't help you make pictographs really. So here's what you'd have to do if you're going to do a pictograph. You'd have to think, okay, we're talking about hours on the phone. So it would be nice probably if I had a picture of a phone. So where you might want to go is to Emojipedia, and what you want is a picture of a phone. So let's see what we got. Mobile phone. That's what I want. So here it is. Let's copy that. Copied. Now, I don't want to have, for example, 20 phones. So maybe I want to make each phone equal 2 hours. Okay, there's my key right there. Now, if each one's 2 hours, how many phones do I need to have for Tracy? I need to have 7 phones. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And Lara would need to have 4 phones, right, to get 8. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Isn't this awful? Autumn would need to have 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And Claire to have 12 phones, that means you need to have 6 of our pictures. And what you might want to do is highlight all those and just put them in the middle. So rather than horizontal line, let's center it all. And there you go. That's your pictograph. Isn't it awful? I mean, I know it's ridiculous. Here's the other problem. Say you were like, I don't want to do 2 for each one. I want to put 4 for each one. That seems like a better choice for me to put 4. You run into a big problem. If I start from the bottom, that would mean I would only need 3 down here. Oh, isn't that nice? I can get rid of these. And I'd only need 5 here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I could get rid of these. This is looking good. And here I'd only need 2. So I can get rid of these. And the first one, how many would I need? 3.5. I don't know how to do halves. How do I get half? I need this to be a half right here. I have no idea how to do it. So, once again, pictographs are a pain in the butt in my opinion, but I guess that's how you would do it on Google Sheets or any other spreadsheet. By the way, I've gone back to this version again. I probably, well, not probably, I don't want to have this, once I've made the pictograph, I don't need this here anymore because the phones are representing it. So what I should probably do is get rid of this and maybe put it over here and then get rid of this entire column. So I will delete the column and then there you go. This looks a little bit better now. And actually I've changed my mind. I'm going to put this thing not here. I'll put it here. Get rid of that. And that's, I guess, not bad. Maybe I should put a title. Instead of putting student here, I'll put a title for this whole thing. So, weekly cell phone use. So maybe I want that to go more in the middle. What I can do is highlight all these cells right over to the end here. And then if I click Format, you can see merge cells, and I want to merge them. You could probably do either one, but I'll do horizontally. And there you go. Now it's right in the middle. So this is my pictograph. Now what I would do is highlight everything, and I could do the copy and over to my Google Docs. This is the pictograph, and we'll paste that in there. And again, you want to do it unlinked. And there you go. There's my somewhat cheesy pictograph. But hey, every pictograph is cheesy. All right, everyone. That was epic. I hope it wasn't too fast. Take care. Bye.